Hi, my name is Chanaye Jackson, and welcome to the Idea to Empire podcast. Today, we're going to be speaking to Leon Bassett Jr., and he is fabulous. He's someone that I've gotten to know over the course of my time networking, and he is a host of an amazing networking group. Leon is a financial consultant, and he takes pleasure in guiding individuals on tangible methods to enhance their financial rapport and safeguard their assets through effective risk management. His main focus is providing mentorship and coaching in financial education, coupled with strategic financial planning. And as you well know, strategy is a favorite word for us on this podcast. So let's bring Leon on. Hi, Leon.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you for coming.
No, it was truly my pleasure to be here. And when you asked me, I was just totally thrilled about being here. So I'm just looking forward to the conversation with you.
You know, I respect you so much, and I've learned a lot from you. And I want to make sure that we tell everybody about your networking group while we're at it. So let's start from the beginning. What's your origin story? Why do you do the work that you do?
Wow, I love that. Well, I'm kind of a simple person in respect to my journey on this planet. And number one, being in the Air Force, flying around the planet, doing my thing there, going to college, learning to meet a lot of folks. Have two fantastic kids, my son and my daughter, great human beings, love dogs. We know you and I have had conversations about that in the past. And what brings me here today with you is that I really want people to understand how we as human beings really need to connect. And one of the things that keeps us from connecting is all the crap that's around us. And being able to disseminate between all that crap and which one is important, which one is not. Yeah. So that's what brings me to this place with you, and meeting you historically has been a pleasure because I have a great deal of respect for you. And I respect what you're doing because you're looking forward to the future and you know what you're doing. It isn't every day. Jim Rome says there's only a few people on the planet that actually know what they're doing. The rest of them, they're just trying to figure it out. Oh, where am I at? Where am I at? But you, on the other hand, you know where you are. So that's my compliment to you, and much love to you, my sister.
I appreciate Leon. You my favorite.
Thank you.
You're my favorite.
Hey, I appreciate it totally. Believe me.
So the folks that are listening, the folks that are watching are business owners who are, they're trying to figure it out. We're getting through all the things that, come with business ownership, being an entrepreneur, being all of the departments. You're the custodian, you're the CEO, you're the marketing, you're the HR. What's some advice, some opportunities that you can give to these folks who are busy to be better in their business?
Well, one thing, after 15 years of being in the world of finance, I've learned a lot from different people and my connections. But one thing that stands out more than anything else, trying to be it all. I mean, carrying that burden. I learned the other day, there's this thing called outsourcing. Because business owners, here's the key, and it's going to be simple. You should not be working. You should be outsourcing everything you need for your business. Because then that allows you to have creativity for the business you're in. Mm-hmm. For example, when you're the chef, you're actually the business owner, you're the waiter, you're the chef, you're the boss, you're the manager, you're everything. How are you supposed to be able to do that and have a healthy mental state? It's not possible. Yeah. So if you outsource a lot of things, and I know a lot of people don't really like that word, but if you really think about it, what do CEOs do for corporations? They're responsible for the board, right? But they're not downstairs pushing a mop. They're not in some booth trying to answer questions. They're not talking to supervisors or managers. They're looking at the whole picture and like, okay, hire that person, hire this person, and let's just get it done. Because the return of investment in that is greater than the sum. So that would be my most crucial advice to anyone who's starting a business, already in a business, been in the business a long time. Even if you do the startup, always think about outsourcing because there's no way you're going to be able to do it all. And if you can, you're definitely not going to be Mark Zuckerberg.
I really like that because what I think I'm hearing too is you're saying, let's have you stay in your zone of genius, right? Like you, the chef, I love that, right? So the chef just wants to cook, right? Like
That's all
that's,
we do.
they just want to cook. They don't want to be the boss or the
No,
waiter or the busboy or the whatever, the host. They don't want to do all that. They just want to cook. So if
right,
you work towards hiring or
right.
spreading out all the
Yeah.
responsibilities that you don't need to be focusing on. You're 1,000% correct that there's much more opportunity for you to get through your business in a more reasonable way. I'll just go with.
Yeah, because if you think about it in its perspective, look at every industry is out there, and I think all of us can pick a particular industry and use that dichotomy to really spread out the wealth within your organization, the creativity within your organization. For instance, really short, when I visit Google's campus, there's nothing there they do not have, so creativity can maintain its priority to
Mm-hmm.
the point where they have a place where people can actually sleep on the campus.
Right.
When you have clarity here, creativity comes. So why you think Google is so large? Because they know the holistic piece of everyone who works in their company. So they are creating, watch, a legacy of employment, consultation, and profitability, which creates sustainability and scalability and talented people who want to work for them. I would work for them. I mean, they got a cleaners, they got a dentist, they got everything on the campus anyone would need without having to worry about it. Even if you got poor finances, they even have accredited people that help you with your finances so that you don't blow all the money you're making. Can you
Mm-hmm.
imagine that? So back to my beginning example, be in your lane, hire other people to go down the road with you. I
Yeah.
mean, look how many people you can make happy to be able to want to work with you.
Yeah. I mean, you're also really talking a lot about building a culture of creativity, right? Like
Yes.
that's another really important aspect to the work that you outsource out, right? Is
Yeah.
culture is so key, but you want a place where folks are willing to put in some of their best work.
Yeah. Actually, you're hitting the nail on the head because try to imagine you're a postal worker working 60, 70 hours a week.
Hmm.
One of those days, you're going to have a meltdown.
Sure.
Only not because you're pissed off, it's because you can't control your mental health. But if you created a community where people really like being in the place with others, can you imagine how much advancement people could have to help the company grow? And I know this as a business owner, I'd be willing to give back. Every year
Mm.
Christmas time comes around, people can't wait because they're waiting for the envelope that I'm going to give them because it's a substantial amount of money inside of it. Because they've helped the company or the firm have great revenue. So why
Sure.
not give back to them? Because, bonuses, to my understanding, are still there, but there's some competition with it and some quotas with it. And
Yeah.
people start to get very vicious for what reason they don't understand. But it's because the organization has created competition and
Hmm.
people, human beings, want to survive, right? I got kids. You got kids. Who comes
Right.
first? My kids. You know,
Always my
always.
folks.
So if you got to leave, you're gone.
Yeah, if I have to jump over you, then man, I'm jumping.
Absolutely. So I'm not saying anything new. It's just that we're not entertaining the idea because we're
Mhm.
more so on the other spectrum. Me,
Sure.
me, 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 me. And we can't help it because we are a society of a free enterprise and it is about me. But to try to create a community within an organization, I think you got millions of dollars coming your way.
Yeah. I mean, as you're talking, I'm like, it's so important to build community. I wish maybe you can respond to this. I wish that companies stop calling themselves, especially large companies like Google, right? To take back your example, I wish companies like Google would stop saying that we're a family. However, we are a community of people who are focused towards common goals. How do you
Oh,
feel about that word family?
I really actually don't like it. I don't. I really don't like it because we're not a family.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know the dichotomy and the demographics of a family. You got a drunk. You got a person who lies, a person who steals, who talks too much, who gossip. You got it all, right?
Right.
People,
Yeah.
that's so dysfunctional is unbelievable. Why would you want that in the workplace? Because
Mm-hmm.
if you project that, people are going to be in positions where, hey, you're my brother, you're my sister, blah, blah, blah. And then you got this one father, and of course you're going to have the mother, right? And they're going
Yep.
to be the adults, and the rest of us are kids.
Yeah.
Why would you want to work in that environment? When you work in a community, as we know historically, a community looks out for each person in the community.
Right.
So much so that they say, look, we're going to help this family first because we know that this family will help this family will help this family. It's reciprocal, recyclable. You can keep doing it forever. And
Mm-hmm.
people will become more committed with integrity to be a part of that community, and that community will grow back to stability, back to scalability. Oh my God, here comes millions of dollars for all of us to share. What is wrong with that picture?
There's not. There's nothing wrong with that picture. So I wonder, as a part of our advice for our entrepreneurs and business owners listening, is really build strong community working towards a common goal. And it doesn't matter if they're a 1099 contractor or if they're a W-2 employee, like you're going to need to be open to the fact that you're going to need, you need them. You don't want to be the janitor and the marketer and the HR and all the things. You can't really do it without them. I mean, you can, but it's not that fun.
Well, here's the reflection of that. Entrepreneur, sole proprietor, business, corporation, all of those. Eventually, they're going to have some consultant people come in and talk to their behavior issues around their employees. It all
Yeah.
happens everywhere at every level because
Yeah.
you're dealing with people who have issues in the day. Society has created issues for them systemically that they cannot control, but
Mm.
they gather that and hurl it on their backs and bring it to work. Why are you in a bad mood? Well, I can't tell you. Oh, I just found out my husband cheated on me. Oh, dear, what happened? And then she runs and tells somebody else, and next thing you know, everybody knows your business. That's
Mhm.
not the environment you want to have. You want to have the environment where people are creative so that they can create something for everyone within that business. Back to my little piece. And I always say that because even in my firm, everybody's waiting for Christmas. And I know why they're waiting for Christmas because the productivity has gotten them to that point. So that envelope is substantial for them when I give it to them. There's the motivation, right? I'm not saying you need to do this or do this to this other person to get that envelope. It's a collective team thing. I didn't say you got to sell $1 million worth of product in order for you to get that. It's the team community. Have we grown to a level that's saying that we can all get $10,000 in an envelope? If the answer is yes, then it's 10,000 for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you have to give someone a piece of value so they can feel valuable and purpose within the organization.
Yeah.
Because like I'll go back and say the chef really wants to cook. That's his passion. Why do you think he came in this business? And he wants the best of the best ingredients because he knows, and also customer service with the value will keep his restaurant open. And those restaurants who stayed open through COVID, they're the restaurants who did that.
Yeah. Yeah. Rallying around the people who make the
Right,
business a business. I
right,
love
right,
that. Yeah.
right. And I'll
Yeah.
give one piece of advice, and this is all levels, and I've learned this over time. You have to ask a person after you've interviewed them and you hire them, have them come in your little space, whatever it is, and actually ask them, look, hey, what kind of dog you got? Do you own a pet? Because
Yeah.
see, when you ask them if they have something external, it says a lot about who they are.
Sure.
Because if they're a true introvert, you know what you're going to get. Hey, George, did you call me? I've been calling you for the last 10 minutes. So, and if you got an extrovert, has anybody seen Nancy?
I know, right? out visiting. She's out visiting.
So you got to have that conversation so you know who you hired, what they can do for you. Because if they don't fit, that's the time you say, look, after doing some background check, you can do it methodically, and say, look, I'm going to give you a probational period.
Mm-hmm.
And if it doesn't work out, we have an agreement right now. If it doesn't, then I'll give you a severance, whatever it is, and then we'll part our ways, right? If it's clear in the front, then people know, look, this guy put it up front. I know what to expect. I know what to do. If it doesn't fit, then I got to go. But I can probably make it fit if I spend time getting to know the person who just hired me so they can know me. So when something comes up, because one thing about the chef, he knows the waiters. He knows which ones does what.
Yeah.
But he doesn't want to spend time managing them either. That's why he's got the restaurant manager, right?
The maitre d', the whoever's doing the head. That's it's really interesting that this conversation is really about set the standard of your culture, and then bring people in who can maintain the creativity necessary to build the business, which then allows them, and then as you're doing that, learn more and more about them to capitalize on opportunities that both you, the business owner, and them can work together to create that synergy towards building a business that even works even better.
Absolutely, because number one, the chef, back to the chef, he has a vision, right?
Mm-hmm.
His vision, he wants to have this awesome restaurant. That's fine. You can spend a lot of money creating the environment, but it doesn't matter if you don't have, number one, the food. Number two, you've got to have people who know what your visions are for the restaurant. And number three, they got to fit within your vision about the restaurant, because remember, this is your puppy. It's not theirs. So don't be desperate and say, I need. No. You don't need anything. I desire this person to fit in my organization so it can grow and they can benefit from the growth. That's period. Because there's 355 million people in America, and people will move
in a heartbeat
to be with you. Remember, to be with you, not you be with them.
Yeah.
Because if you're with them, they're going to take whatever you have and run. So that's why Google is successful, because they contract everybody.
They do. They do. I mean, and they also have a version of name recognition. It's kind of like if you go to an Ivy League, like it's a different conversation. If you're like, I went to Harvard versus I went to, any other tiny school that very few people know about. So when you think about building culture, how do you do it?
Wow. You know what the greatest answer is? That communication.
Oh, I love it.
It's the only way you're going to build it, because number one, our human nature is to judge first off the bat. Now, even when we're little kids, we're judging our adults. Who can we trust? Who's not going to beat me up? Who's going to nurture me and love me, right? That's why people say human beings are social, because when the kid comes home, he wants to know that's his room where he sleeps, that's his bed, that's where his clothes are. He knows when he goes in the kitchen, he knows that he has permission to go in the refrigerator. All those things keeps him within purpose. The same thing with the employee, the same thing with the entrepreneur. You've got to set a baseline so that baseline produces what you want. So you're not driving down this winding road trying to figure out what to do, because when you really need resources, people can see your historical reputation to be one that says, I want to invest in you. That's what you're doing. Restaurant, whatever, somebody's going to come along and say, hey, look, I like to invest some money in your business because I see how it's prospering. Bam. And they're doing it because they want to, not doing it because would you let me borrow $100,000? Would you let me? No, they're doing it because they want. Can you imagine that? Having people come to you because
they want in.
Well, they want in because of you.
Yeah.
So you can't create that if you don't have this communication and creating that community, because to me, that's more important. I feel bad for people who don't see it as important. The bottom line is profits, and that's all they want, and that's all they produce. And then they can't figure out why their employees or customers don't have a very good experience because they don't really care about what experience that person's having. So how are you going to have the bottom line if they don't have a good experience?
Right.
And that's a new thing. Let's make sure our customers have a new experience. What experience you're trying to give them? You're not giving them an experience. You got people working behind the counter saying, "What do you want?" It's just back to simple human nature that we come into this world with.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, we have to connect.
Yeah.
We're not robots. We are human beings. We need each other. Wolves have packs. They don't do anything without a pack. Dogs, cats, all of these are pack animals. We're pack. Okay, I'm not going to say animals because people don't go, I'm not an animal. But we need each other. We cannot do this in a silo. Even though we may be introverts still are connecting with people. My son likes games, right? But he's still gaming with other people. You can game by yourself, but after a while it gets kind of boring, right?
And playing against the computer is not that fun.
So you're right. And I'm going to keep using the restaurant because we all go to it. The reason why we tip the waiter or the waitress is because of what they serve to us and how they serve it to us.
How they did it. Exactly.
How they did it, not the food, how they did it. I mean, to put that plate in front of me and just drop the plate down in front of me, oh my God, you having a bad day or what, dude? You know? Or if that person comes over and serves that food in front of you and says some really kind words about the dish and how you're going to enjoy that dish and all the things that they think might make it a very good experience, you almost forget about the taste of the food because this person was so sweet and so nice. And you're like, oh, this food is absolutely good. But it was the psychology that got you, that make your taste buds make that thing taste good.
Yeah.
Because how many times we've had a meal based on the person who brought it to us, the experience was terrible, and you spend more of your time talking about the waiter.
Right. And how terrible they are. Right. I was, that's exactly what you just said. That's exactly where I was thinking. I was like, man, I've had not great experiences in places. And it's kind of like, when you're cooking, they talk about when you're cooking food and that like, if somebody's angry or mad or whatever, you don't want to eat their food. It's kind of the same idea.
Yes, absolutely the same idea. And I don't care which spectrum of the restaurant industry you go in, even if it's fast food or even if it's, a 5-course, white table, all that kind of stuff, you spend $400 kind of thing. It's the experience that you have with the people you're interacting with. Because it's all, when you go to these restaurants and you spend 3 or 4 hours, it's all about the atmosphere.
Right.
You're going in with the expectation of an experience because the word went out that this was the restaurant to go to. So when you go in there and those expectations are not met, are you going to go back there? Even if it's a negotiable place to do your negotiable bill, you may not be really ready to go. You might say, well, just give me water, So back to the brick and mortar business and the communication, it's the same dichotomy because whatever you treat and how you treat your employees, they're going to end up helping you lose money.
Or gain it if you figure out if you do it right.
Exactly. So don't go in there looking like it's the bottom line. What's the bottom list? Result. And you're outsourcing everything else. You still have to have that experience of communicating with the people that you're working with so they'll feel like they have purpose. So their creativity come out because closing this comment, we're here to create. We are here to create. Remember, there was nothing here on this planet until humans came and started creating brick and mortar. Before that, it was trees, grass, and animals. And even for a minute, we were there. But remember, all of these things came up from creativity. I mean, I'm going to be real simple. The wheel. You know how long it took my brother to come up with a wheel?
You're so good.
I mean, he tried every damn thing he could come up with. This ain't working. We can't do this.
When I work with my clients, I think a lot about, leading indicators, performance indicators, and lagging indicators. And, everybody wants to step immediately over all the things, the leading and the performance indicators. They want to jump all the way over to the lagging indicator, which is the biggest lagging indicator is money,
I know.
profit, like whatever it is, like whatever you think about money, it is the last thing. You have so many other ways to be pulling levers, pushing buttons that really goes and make sure that that lagging indicator is as high as you possibly can get it. And and one of the things that I like to share with people is an opportunity to increase your productivity, to increase your efficiency, to increase that lagging indicator is by tracking employee satisfaction.
Yeah.
And as you make changes, how does that go and increase or decrease the satisfaction that your folks have with being there? I had a really great talk with a guy not too long ago, and he told me, he said, we spend on average about 90,000 hours of our lives in work, right?
Yeah, we do.
And only 33% enjoy their work. 30, so 2/3 are like, take it or leave it. I could pass. I don't need to. I don't feel appreciated. I don't list all the things. And so what would happen if we prioritize the people that work for us, that help us push our wheelbarrow, right? So that we can serve our clients better, so that we can make the money that we want to, that we deserve because of my effort and their effort.
Yeah, I totally on that page because number one, we are business people. You have to have numbers, bottom line. You've got to have profits, top of the line. You got to have all of that. But what makes a cake? All the ingredients that go into it and that love that you give it. And then when you put it in the oven, it does what it does. What's the last thing you do with that cake? And I'm talking cake, not icing, cake. The actual bread itself. Mm-hmm. What do you do with it when you get it out? And then when you put that icing on it and you look at it, you go, wow, look what I've done. But here's the best part of it. When someone tastes your cake and says, man, I felt that in my palate. It's decadent. There's the reward. And they would pay $1 million for that cake. Because the way it was presented to you, the love that went into it, the recipes that are a part of it, that's what you're speaking of. When people hear it in a story, they kind of gravitate more to something because everybody's had a damn cake. Now, if you've never had your cake in your life, I don't know what planet you're on.
You've missed out. You've missed out.
You just missed out. I get it. Sugar's not the top thing, but I get it. All right? But let me say, taste a cake that's been well made and you experience that, you're going to want another one, period. Mm-hmm. Okay. But all I'm saying, businesses like that. People need to know the ingredients of your business so they understand where they fit in the wheel.
Yeah.
Because if they don't know where they
making the cake.
Right. If they don't know where they fit in that wheel, which is the ingredients, then they don't know what's supposed to come from it. Mm-hmm. The guy who's down there cutting the legs off the chicken on the end, he doesn't know what happens to that chicken on the other end because he's too busy cutting off the legs. Matter of fact, he doesn't even know the people down on the other end. All he knows, he comes to the door, puts on his clothes, and he's down there chopping the legs off the chicken. That's all he knows. Right?
It's a little morbid, by the way.
Right. I know, but I'm just saying we don't want that as entrepreneurs and business owners because we're not in the factory. We're in a place of business where we want to have people working for us who are willing to be with us, know that we hear all of their concerns of life, and understand how to address those without being too committed to be too involved, just to know that they feel like, okay, this is a community. I can rest assured that if I say to someone, they know it's between me and them, even if you're talking about the manager, right? But that's expected. But the bottom line is you protect the community so that the community can keep getting to the bottom line. And that is, if I want something for my family from this community, I know what to do so the community can grow. Ooh, so that I can profit from that as well.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
It's 1, 2, 3. But I mean, what I've taken from this is build community, treat your folks well, and they'll treat your business, and your outcomes, your lagging indicators will be all the better. So tell people how to get a hold of you. Where can we connect? Do all the things.
Well, I want to throw out, one of the pet peeves I have right now, and I'm really, really thanking God that He's able to default me this, and that is to be able to be a connector. So Let's Connect is a place that meets every Wednesday, California time. This is a community where folks can come in my kitchen, sit down, have a conversation, and feel a part of community. Don't worry, we got people in the living room and some other bedrooms and outside, whatever. You got all that stuff.
Sure.
But I want to invite you to be able to connect with people from a business standpoint. That's one thing. And that's the way I want you to connect with me, through that community. Because if you connect with me through that community, then you're going to want to connect with me even more so. Mm-hmm. Because we all human beings have to have that experience. How's that cake really taste, Leon? Well, come to my house and I'll give you a slice, okay? And I can guarantee you'll come back.
We'll talk about it. Just, you and I met through your networking event. It's Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Pacific time. And it's always on my calendar. It's something I definitely look forward to every week. So, I mean, thank you for building a kitchen on
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
And that is my conversation with Leon Bassett Jr. Please follow the podcast on all the things. I'm Chanaye Jackson. That was Leon. Bye, all.
Take care. Bye-bye.